Welcome back to another action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the final B&M exclusive set for 2022, which is the History of the Dalek set number 12, which is based on the story Destiny of the Daleks. This is something that fans were anticipating for a re-release, considering not many of these variants exist in action figure form. The initial release of one of these guys was way back in 2009/10, in the 4th Doctor Adventure set as a Bomber Dalek. In 2011, the two drones were released in a massive set that accompanied Davros and the Doctor, so it's nice to see that they've finally been re-released here with brand new updates being a major key point here. So before we take a look at the products, let's begin by taking a look at the packaging. So as ever, the same style guide that we all know and love has been used here with the same blue and grey style guide, with the TARDIS and Doctor Who logo being in the same positioning as we saw on the other Dalek sets. You've got the gold limited edition foil sticker, as well as a red box stating what story these Daleks are from, as well as the year of broadcast. It's definitely going to be strange not seeing these type of packaging used again, but I really can't wait to see what character have in store for us in the upcoming future. Just like with the 3 previous sets, the Daleks are held in a blister pack, which is now the norm for these sets. So removing this will mean you cannot put these back in the box like you could do in the past. Out of the box, the figures, as ever, look amazing. The detailing on these is phenomenal, as the amount of little features on these figures alone is amazing, but more on that in a bit. So beginning with this Dalek in particular, there are a few new additions in regards of some of the sculpting, the most significant thing here being that this Dalek has new dome lights that have been used on the Genesis set, although this time the rims have been painted black, as well as the light itself having this sort of frosted effect over the top. I love how they've added in these dome lights, as this Dalek in particular does feature quite prominently in the story itself. I'm surprised they've gone to this extra step just to do this, and as far as I'm aware, this is the only story that they ever appear in. We've also got brand new eye stalks on both Daleks, which features less rings on the eye stalk section, as well as an indent on the front, which is how it looked on the actual props. With that being in place, it does mean that the eye is now printed on, which I think looks more accurate. It's a good attention to detail when it comes to some of the details on these Dalek props, because at the time, these started to look a lot tattier. If you have seen Destiny of the Daleks, you will know how badly damaged the props were. They were pretty much in disarray, with bits of sellotape holding bits of them together, and parts of them were falling off. They just looked awful, and I love how the toys have tried to replicate it to a certain extent. All the similar details from the previous toys are still present, such as the mesh on the neck bin and all the rings going down the neck, which have been painted very neatly and there's no paint bleeds at all. The slats are also this new version, with all the slats being painted grey, and the mesh being painted silver, with the holes being painted black. You also have the black oval on the midsection, and just like the on-screen prop, and then paying close attention to the gun, you can see that the gun has been painted black with the bronze ball joint, which too is accurate. The plunger attachment has been painted black with a gloss finish, and the plunger itself has been painted in a matte black. The lower band of the midsection has also been painted in a gloss black to match some of the other parts of this toy. And then taking a look at the hemispheres, those too have been painted in a gloss black, but feature silver washes over the top to depict some of the damage that these Daleks would have had in the actual show. Like I said, these weren't in the greatest of conditions during this story, as it had been 3 years since the Daleks were last seen on screen, and because since they were lent out to the public for numerous fates and events around the country, the Daleks were slightly mistreated, meaning that they were in a bit of a sorry state, and the visual effects team didn't have a lot of time to repair them. So that's a very nice attention to detail, and to be honest, I think it gives the Daleks a more battle-scarred appearance. I mean, they were fighting in a Mavellan war, which by this point probably carried out for centuries. And to finish off the look, the fender has been painted in a matte black with some silver washes over the top to make it look tatty and mishandled. And again, this works in favour for these ones in particular when referring back to my battle scar statement. So this is a really nice look and has to be one of the best Daleks represented from this story. As I always love the intricate Dalek dome lights, it was something I would hope we would get, as I always thought it stood out in the story. It's only a minor difference, and I never thought for a minute that character would have even bothered making these, since this is just a minor difference. But there you go. Moving on to the second Dalek in this set. This is more of a generic drone that we see throughout this story, and most of the details are pretty much the same. The dome lights have now reverted back to the Mini Cooper dome lights, and the oval is now gone, and the lower waistband is now grey. But it still retains some of the paint apps as seen on the other Dalek. Just like its comrade, the paint apps are all very nice and crisp, with barely any paint bleeds. The gunstick has also got a grey ball joint now instead of the bronze one, which is another little detail that has been changed. Similar paint apps on the hemispheres are also present, with the silver washes to depict some of the paint chipping off. And then moving straight down to the fender, the top tier has also been completely painted silver. Supposedly it was an aluminium strip that was added to tidy up the fender, but it was never sadly painted. And to finish off the look, the bottom part of the fender has the similar sort of scrapes as some of the other Daleks have, which looks excellent. Again, a really nice looking Dalek, and all the detailing on this guy is just outstanding. It is a well-known fact that Al Jawar is a massive fan of this story, so you can pretty much tell that he's put a lot of attention into these Daleks, and they just look superb. So for articulation for these particular Daleks, they are just like every other Dalek, so if you don't know, we'll go through it right now. So you can go over there. Right. Head can do a full 360 turn. Well, dome. Eye can pivot up and down. Gun and the plunger on ball joints, giving it very different poses. So you can pose it like that if you want to. You know, pretty neat. And the Dalek can move around wherever it likes because of the wheel on the bottom. You know, watch it spin, eh? Pretty cool. And it pretty much gives this Dalek full range of mobility. Zoom. Overall, it's another great Dalek set, and it's nice that we finally have some re-releases of some Daleks that haven't been seen for over a decade. It's such a shame that my originals are all boxed away, as I would love to compare the two because the grey is significantly different, and as much as I love those original releases, I feel like these are definitely a step up. The added detailing, such as the new sculpting on these Daleks, are remarkable as ever, and depicts some of the other detailing to what we saw in the story. I know some fans were expecting to see the Suicide Bomber Dalek, as that is a very hard item to get, and many people are pleading for a re-release as it's extremely hard to get, but time will tell. Hopefully these are still available in B&M, as they should have done the rounds by now, so they shouldn't be too hard to pick up as they were in their initial release. So thank you all for watching. It's taken me a while to review this, but with the stress of moving house, these videos had to be put on hold. Hopefully I'll be back in the near future for another review, but until then, stay tuned.